One.
Hello, my name is Samantha Kahn. I'm currently a freshman at the University of Delaware studying neuroscience. Today I'm going to be taking you through history starting in the early 1920s until now. Through this journey, you will learn about 7 inspirational female athletes who made an impact on and off the court, fighting injustice and inspiring others to do the same. Their resilience, determination, and perseverance are admirable, and their killer serves are like no others. They are the obscure but phenomenal African-American woman of tennis. Ora Washington started the domino effect of African-American tennis stars. She began playing tennis as an outlet for grief after her sister passed away. Within a year of playing, she won her first tournament for Black-only players. From there, she dominated the sport of tennis from the 1920s to the 1930s, winning 23 American Tennis Association national championships. She was later recognized by Franklin D. Roosevelt, who put funds from the New Deal towards building tennis courts in urban areas. Due to racial segregation, she could not play in some tournaments, like a tournament at the United States Lawn Tennis Association. She wanted to play a white tennis player named Helen Willis Moody, but Moody refused to because she didn't want to play with a black woman. She was a 5'7" icon who dominated the courts and led the way for Pete and Repeat Peters. Pete and Repeat Peters, also known as Romania and Margaret Peter, were 2 sisters from Washington, D.C. They started playing in the 1930s and became 4-time ATA National Tournament double champions. During their period of destruction, they graduated from Tuskegee University, where they received a 4-year scholarship to play tennis. Due to segregation, they were forced to pay for their own equipment, didn't receive any compensation for their wins, and had very limited opportunities. Later in their lives, the tennis courts at which they taught themselves to play were dedicated to them, now calling them the Rose Park Tennis Courts. Their success paved the way for the next upcoming player, Althea Gibson. Althea Gibson was born in South Carolina in 1927. Soon after, she moved to New York City, where she won her first women's paddle championship. Later in her career, she played in the ATA and received 10 national women's titles. She was the first African American to compete at the United States National Championship. She then moved on to be the first African American to compete in the United States Open, the French Open, and Wimbledon. After a win at Wimbledon in England, she returned to New York City, where a ticker tape parade occurred in her honor. This was a huge moment considering a parade was being thrown for a woman of color in such a time of oppression of African Americans. Unfortunately, the day after the parade, she went to Chicago for her next upcoming tournament and was refused a room at an upscale hotel on the bias of race. Also, many sports writers in the United States and England refused to do pieces on her and acknowledge her success. While she has faced much discrimination, she has many accomplishments, including being voted Female Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press, making her the first African American to receive this honor. This honor was given to her because she was ranked number 1 tennis player in the world, making her the first African American to also receive this title. In 1971, she was put in the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Her success led the way for the 2 upcoming sisters, Venus and Serena Williams. Venus and Serena Williams are known as 2 of the most respected tennis players in the world. They were born a year apart in Michigan and moved to Compton, California. Their father, Richard Williams, was a former sharecropper for Louisiana. He taught them to play tennis through strict methods and long hours of training. Venus Williams went pro in 1994, getting 7 Grand Slam titles, including 5 Wimbledon championships. In 2000, she attended the Olympic Games in Sydney, Australia, and won 2 gold medals. Then, in 2002, she received the number 1 ranking from the Women's Tennis Association. Later, the sisters teamed up and won a doubles match in the Olympic Games in Beijing in 2008. Many years later, after her career had taken off, Venus started her own clothing line, called 11. It is a brand that creates activewear for tennis and everyday usage. Her brand works with a nonprofit organization called Girls Incorporated, which works to teach young girls their value, helping them discover their strengths. Her company also promotes gender equality by trying to close the wage gap between women and men. She has worked to do this by selling t-shirts through her brand that promotes this and donating the profits to Girls Incorporated. Venus has used her platform created by her success on the court to help make an impact on African American women everywhere. Serena Williams' tennis career began in 1995. Early in her career, she won her first Grand Slam in the United States Open, making her the second African American to do so. She then won a gold medal in the 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney, and in 2001 became the 5th doubles team to win all Grand Slam titles. Serena beat her sister in the French Open, Wimbledon, and the United States Open. Later in her career, she opened Serena Ventures, which is a venture firm that launched to support women, people of color, and young entrepreneurs. She's also used her platform to advocate for policies that address maternal health issues and disparities, working with the Center for Reproductive Rights and other organizations. She began to be a powerful advocate for causes like these after her own complications with maternal health during her own pregnancy. These ladies have made many accomplishments, even while facing racism and sexism. Both sisters have faced much negative commentary on their physical appearance, like being compared to a monkey, being referred to as brothers, being told that they should model for National Geographic, people making public comments on the size of their behinds, and being told they have thickly muscled blubber. Even one of Serena's opponents made fun of Serena's appearance by stuffing her skirt and shirt to imitate her. The sisters also faced other injustices, like being drug tested more consistently than their white opponents and having racial slurs like the N-word hurled at them when Venus dropped a match. Another instance is when during a match, Serena wore a catsuit that is used to prevent blood clots and extremely criticized for it, so much so the French Tennis Federation banned the outfit, even when white players had worn it in the past. After Serena's loss in the 2018 U.S. Open final, Australian newspaper published a cartoon depicting Serena as a baby stomping angrily on her tennis racket, with a racist depiction of her features. The list could go on, yet these two women are considered two of the best tennis players in all of history. They have made history even while facing discrimination and hatred, showing resilience and determination. Coco Gauff was born in Delray Beach, Florida, and began playing tennis at age 6. In 2019, she received a wildcard slot to play at Wimbledon, facing off against one of her idols, Serena Williams, and she ended up winning. She also won the 2023 Grand Slam title in the United States Open. During this tournament, Coco Gauff became frustrated in her first-round match when her opponent kept taking extra time for preparations before receiving her serve. Coco's frustration continued when this violation kept occurring. She then confronted the chair umpire and was asked for her opponent's actions to be considered a violation. Fans discussed that if Coco wasn't black, then the umpire wouldn't allow her white opponent's actions to happen. Since the beginning of her upcoming career, she has used her platform to speak on issues like racial injustice and climate change, even speaking in a Black Lives Matter protest. Coco gives credit to her grandmother for her willingness to stand up for what's right and speak up, considering in 1961 her grandmother used her voice to integrate a high school in Florida. Coco Gauff is still considered an upcoming star whose impact the tennis world is waiting to see. From Ora Washington to Coco Gauff, African American women have and will continue to make their mark on the tennis world. These women inspire others to be resilient to injustice and to be role models. They are the obscure but phenomenal African American women of tennis.